Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah wa kafa wa salamun ala ibadihi allazina astafa amma ba'd. فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فاذكروني أذكركم واشكروا لي ولا تكفرون سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. Inshallah ta'ala, we start today's Majlis with the beautiful name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inshallah ta'ala, remain focused on your hearts and make sure your hearts are focused on Allah. And do dhikr with muhabbat, with attentiveness, inshallah ta'ala, so it can be transforming for our being. We will start with Khatmat al-Khajigan, and then Asma al-Nasiha, and then Muraqabah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all of our little efforts that we make for Him. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Astaghfirullah Rabbi min kulli dhanbin wa atubu ilayh. Astaghfirullah Rabbi min kulli. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل. حسبنا الله. حسبنا الله. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا خفي اللطف أدركني بلطفك الخفي. يا خفي اللطف أدركني بلطفك الخفي. يا خفي اللطف أدركني بلطفك الخفي. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا باقي أنت الباقي. يا باقي أنت الباقي. يا باقي أنت الباقي. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. لا حول ولا قوة. لا حول ولا قوة. لا حول ولا قوة. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. اللهم صل على بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك لا إله إلا أنت لا إله إلا أنت اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم سيدنا صل على سيدنا بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا حي يا قيوم برحمتك أستغيث يا حي يا قيوم برحمتك أستغيث يا حي يا قيوم يا حي يا قيوم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والله ذو فضل على المؤمنين والله ذو فضل على اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الله ولي الذين آمنوا الله ولي الذين الله ولي الله ولي الذين اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم اللهم صل بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والله ولي المؤمنين والله ولي المؤمنين والله ولي اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والذين جاهدوا فينا لنهدينهم سبلنا سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. Last week we started talking about the concept of dunya, and we defined dunya to be anything that is causing heedlessness within our being towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So anything that takes us away from Allah ta'ala is defined as dunya, and anything that takes us towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is dhikr. The very famous example of Shaykh Sahabuddin Suhrawardi rahmatullah ta'ala alayh, and in other instances it has been attributed to some other Shaykh. He said that one time I went to the house of Allah, Baytullah. He said that I was doing tawaf and I came across a person who was attached to the Bab Kaaba. He had himself attached to the Bab Kaaba and to the multazim, and he is crying and he's weeping. He said, he was Sahib al-Kashf. He said, I made tawajjuh on his heart and I found that his heart was ghafil, meaning being in the most sacred places, the most sacred time of Hajj. And this person is attached to the multazim and to the Bab Kaaba. But he had in his heart the feeling that others will look at me and others will think, mashallah, that I am such a pious person and righteous person and that I'm crying and I'm weeping. So even in this state, this person was not in a state of dhikr, but a state of ghafla. So his ibadat also became dunya for him. His traveling to Baytullah also became dunya to him. His doing tawaf also became dunya to him. Being attached to the multazim and Bab Kaaba became dunya to him. And then the Shaykh said that I went to Mina, and we all know in Mina, there's so many people who are gathered there. So that I came across a person who was selling some merchandise, and there were a lot of people gathered around him. Those who have been to Hajj, they know that the shops are really busy. So he said that I made tawajjuh and I focused on the heart of the shopkeeper. And I found that the heart of this person was zakir. That despite the fact that there were so many people who were there, despite the fact that he is busy in bay wa tajara, he's in trade and commerce, he's busy apparently, seemingly in dunya, but the heart of this person, because it was attached to Allah, he was in a state of dhikr. So that is really the biggest difference between what is dunya and what is dhikr. What is ghaflat and what is dhikr is that where the heart is. So for example, you can have everything in the dunya, be like Abdul Rahman ibn Auf radiallahu ta'ala anhu or Usman Ghani radiallahu ta'ala anhu, but you can be totally detached from it. And that detachment is what is required by Allah Ta'ala. Allah Ta'ala will give rizq, and Allah Ta'ala gives rizq to everybody. But these things, they are They go up and down these days. Sometimes Allah Ta'ala gives and sometimes Allah Ta'ala takes away. What is required by us, for us, is that when Allah Ta'ala gives us, we are in a state of shukr. And then when Allah Ta'ala takes it away, we're still in a state of shukr and sabr. And last time we spoke a little bit about the example of Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani Rahmatullah Ta'ala alayh, how when he received the news of extreme loss, he still had shukr in his heart. And when he was given the news of a lot of profit, he was still in the state of shukr with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, so that is the basic concept of hubbe mal and hubbe dunya and hubbe ja and hubbe ba. So this love of whether it is material accumulation or whether it is love of recognition, right? This is that people should praise me, recognize me. This is also part of this whole concept of hubbe dunya. All of these things, hubbe ja, hubbe ba, and hubbe mal, they are there to feed our nafs. Basically, that's basically what it is for. Because at the end of the day, just imagine for a second that you are the only person in the dunya. There's nobody else but you. Or imagine yourself that you travel to some other planet, to Mars, and you are the only person there. Now, when you are there, there is no talab in the person that I should gather all the mal and all the wealth of Mars. You won't go around, digging for gold, right? Because there's nobody else there but you. And so this concept of hubbe dunya, hubbe mal, hubbe ja, hubbe ba, it is usually what in comparison with somebody else. When we are competing with other people, when we want to feel better about ourselves as compared to other people. Oh, look at me, I have more than him. Or look at me, I'm more well known than him. Or I'm more pious than him. Or I'm more righteous than him. So you can quickly see that this feeling is really to feed our nafs in comparison to others. That we want to have this sense of superiority about ourselves. We want to feel good about ourselves in comparison to others. And if we were alone, we wouldn't really be thinking about these things. So it's for Salikeen, if you remember when we were covering the Maqamat Ashara, we did cover the concept of Zuhd. It is very, very imperative for Salikeen of Tariq to have this kind of disconnect and not run after fame, not run after wealth, not run after recognition, because it is zahar, it is poison for our own suluk, and it will definitely destroy this. Whatever the little we have achieved in our life, it is enough to destroy. But hubbe mal, as Imam Ghazali rahmatullah ta'ala explains, it can be detrimental in other aspects as well. So, there's that famous saying that halaluha hisabun wa haramuha wabalun. That if we focus just on the mal aspect of things, if a person goes beyond the needs, what is really required, what is really needed for life, and we start treading into the wants and desires, the hawa nafsi, the Shaykh says that even if you're doing it halal way, let's say you're doing it halal way, still you have to be held accountable for it. On the day of judgment, there will be a delay. And the good example is, let's say you're a business owner or you have several businesses. Every April when you are filling out your tax returns, and every time you're doing your tax returns, there's that extra time that you have to spend in it, right? Because it's not a straightforward W-2 that you're doing. You have to look at all your income, all your expenses. You have to make sure that, so there's that delay. There is that time that you have to spend in it. So this is halaluha hisabun. But even if it is halal, that you have to give hasab. This is why, if you look at the way of our elders, akabirin, it was usually that whenever Allah Ta'ala gave them something, they tried to spend it in the path of Allah. So we should come from that mentality, even if we're not able to make it into practice. What I'm saying is that, it's times are very different now. And just to walk in the path of our akabirin, the least we can be doing is like every day give a little bit in sadaqah. Maybe $1, a quarter, whatever we can, so we can, on some sense, we are following in their footsteps and doing what they used to do. I mean, they used to do whatever they had, but I guess the biggest difference now is that, a lot of us, we live in, rented houses, and, we have a lot of these other artificial social constructs that we have to worry about. So, be careful. I'm not saying just go ahead and just do everything. So practically just getting into the mizaj of giving basically means that give sadaqah wherever you can, whether it is your local masjid or whether it is giving to people in need in all of these countries where our Muslim brothers and sisters are in need. Whatever we can, inshallah ta'ala, try to form a mizaj, a personality of just giving, inshallah ta'ala. Okay? And haram will have a balun. I don't think there's any shara that's needed there. If we are doing anything haram, it is if we are getting rizq the haram way, then of course it will be a wabal, not only in this dunya in terms of our spirituality being destroyed, but for sure in akhirah as well. That we are told that this gold and whatever we gather, it will be melted, and we will be marked with that. So, alhamdulillah, we have to be intelligent about this. And this intelligent, there are two terminologies that are used. One is called aql ma'ad, and the other is called aql ma'ash. And aql ma'ash is basically just having business sense, or just being very, some people, they're very good at figuring out what the profit and loss is. But if your focus is only on the dunya, that is called aql ma'ash. Ma'ishat, is the economy. Aql ma'ad is also being intelligent, but the big difference is that we are focused on the akhirah. That is the biggest difference. You do invest in both cases, but in one case you are looking for profit in this dunya, and that is aql ma'ash. In the other is you're looking for profit in the akhirah. That is the biggest difference. And so the example of Hazrat Usman Ghani Raziyallahu anhu, when he bought the rights of a well, and alhamdulillah, he just gave it away. And he bought the whole of the well, and then he gave the whole of the well in sadaqah. And another example of when there was such there was starvation in Medina Munawwara, and people were starving and they were thirsty, and there was drought, and there were so many things happening. And so he had some kafila, some caravan of tijarat that was coming from another place, 100 camels coming with provisions, and he was offered 1.5 times the profit and 2 times the profit. And he basically said, no, I will give it to one who will give me many, many times profit. And now all the people, the shopkeepers, they said, we can't give you that much. And so he took all of those 100 camels in the center of the square. Again, look at him. I mean, he is looking for profit, but he's looking for profit in akhirah, and he gave everything in sadaqah. He said, because my Rabb has promised me that he will give bighayri hisab, that he will give me, profit that is without any hisab. I mean, you're talking about thousands and thousands and thousands times the profit that you can probably give. So this is something we need to develop within ourselves, because it's very easy to not see that. For example, if we have some wealth, all of a sudden shaitan will put all of these zaruras in front of us. Well, you have to do this, and you have to do this, and you have to do this. And so it's easy to get caught up in that. But again, learning the skills to be akhirat centric and identify for ourselves some worthy causes where we can help people on an individual level or communal level, we should do that. We should say that, inshallah, ya Allah Kareem, for your sake, because I want, jaza bighayri hisab, Allah Ta'ala, give this in your path. So it doesn't have to be everything that you have, but whatever we can, getting into the habit of, and do it without telling others. This is also, it develops ikhlas, especially when we are salikin. You don't have to go and tell everybody about what we have done. You just, and nowadays it's very easy. You can give anonymous donations to so many causes, and Syria and other places, Yemen and like Kashmir and India. There's so many places we can give now. So just identify something for yourselves, and just for a few seconds be in a state of huzuri. Say, Ya Allah Kareem, for your sake, Allah Ta'ala, give this, Allah Jazak, Allah, Alhamdulillah, for giving me the opportunity to give. Allah, please accept it from me as well. So inshallah Ta'ala, if we develop this, and it doesn't have to be thousands of dollars, because if we do that, then we'll just do it once and then we won't do it again. So whatever we can, $10, $15, whatever, coffee money as they call it, or soda money. So we should try to give that, inshallah ta'ala, in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and seek reward from Him, inshallah ta'ala. So this is, it's important to think about it, evaluate our own selves about where our hearts are attached, how much they're attached, and how do we detach them from these petty things, these worldly things, inshallah ta'ala, so we can truly become somebody who seeks out Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's very important. And also Imam Ghazali rahmatullah mentions that the detriment of too much even halal rizq and mal is that people become very, very, they become very sust. That the jazba of mujahida is not there anymore. Because if you're surrounded with comforts and luxuries, then it is very difficult to make mujahida. If I have a soft bed to sleep on, then I won't find any enjoyment sleeping on the carpet. So even though it's halal to do it, the detriment is that the jazba of mujahida is not there anymore. Second, he says that it affects that if you have children who are born and raised with a golden spoon, then then they will develop that mizaj as well. They will become people who are entitled all the time, and you're putting the future of the children in jeopardy as well. And third, he mentions that the wrong kind of people surround you. That even if you have halal rizq, as they say that if you have honey, that the flies will follow. So the more money a person has, or wealth a person has, then the wrong kinds of friends follow you. And fourth, he said, it becomes easy to commit a sin. Before, let's say if you have nothing, we'll think twice or 3 times or 10 times before planning any sin. But now that we have everything, now it becomes very easy to go down to Atlantic City or to Nevada and to Las Vegas, and so it becomes easy. And a lot of times the previous ones, where bad friends will come towards you and they'll say, come on, let's just go. There's nothing wrong with it. We're just going to visit. We're not going to do anything. You get there and then, you're lost in the lights and the hustle and bustle of Atlantic City. And so it becomes easy to sin against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there are many others as well, but we can start to see a pattern emerging that if we are not conscious about where the wealth is being spent, then it can become a liability for us. So this is why it's important not to become those hoarders, basically. Our elders used to say that there's one thing called maldar and the other is mal ka chaukidar. That we should not become mal ke chaukidar, that we're just guarding our mal and just worried about it 24/7, and we should come out of that kind of thinking, inshallah. So inshallah ta'ala, and look at the way that the Quran describes it. There are 3 specific ways. One is where Allah ta'ala describes this as water from the sky, right? And the reason is that water, subhanAllah, it has qualities of flowing. It's a liquid. So it will flow from one place to another. So mal is exactly like that. That today it's here, tomorrow it will be there. But if you're attached to it, you will never let go of it. Oh, I wish 20 years back I had made that investment. Apple. Late 90s. Oh, I wish I had bought it when it was $5. And people say that, because this is the attachment of. I wish I had made that attachment, that investment of Google and this and. So people say those things because even though the water has flown away from them, it's still the heart is still wet. It's still wet from the water. So this is why Allah Ta'ala explains this. This is water from the sky says that it flows, but subhanallah, when it makes you wet, it's very difficult to dry yourself off. Another reason this example is given, this mithal is given, is that we all know, water is so necessary for life. It is so necessary for life. But as long as the necessary amount is there. I remember many years now back, there was some kind of competition that happened on radio where they wanted people to just drink water. How much water can you drink? That was the competition. And so some poor lady, she drank a lot of water, and that upset her electrolyte level within her body. Because we know all the signals that travel because of the potassium and sodium, the balance that Allah Ta'ala has made within us. And so the salt balance was messed up, and she died from that. I forget what the actual the reason is called, but there's a word for that, and she died from that. So meaning water in enough quantity is needed for life, but if it is more than you need, then it can be very harmful. And another example, subhanallah, water. Back in the days, and even nowadays, if you're going over Verrazano Bridge, you see all of these cargo ships, and as long as you are over the water, it's okay. That you need it, you're able to carry so much load, and you're able to carry, all the commerce in the dunya right now is happening because they have ships, cargo ships are able to travel from one country to another. But what happens if that water comes inside? The same ship with all of its cargo, it will sink. Whatever happened to Titanic and other ships. So exactly like that, as long as our mal is below our feet, it's okay. Whatever we have, the gold and silver that we have, as long as we are walking on it, it's okay. But if we feel that the water has entered, or the mal has entered into our heart, now we have to be worried. Because just like that ship sinks, this water will sink us as well. So it's not that we seek out faqr in terms of that we have nothing. We should be seeking out faqr of heart. As Allama Iqbal said, and I think I said this last time as well, Mera tariq amiri nahi faqiri hai, khudi na bech faqiri mein na peda. That my tariq and my way and my suluk is not amiri, it's not to become an amir and shaykh and this. It's faqiri, is to really discover the faqr of Allah, the antumul faqara'u ilallah. Khudi na bech, faqiri mein na. Khudi is this concept that he came up with, which is self-realization and self-identity. And so he says that do not sell your own self-identity. Don't be for sale, meaning have dini hamiyat and dini ghairat. And faqiri mein naam paida kar, that you should be known for your need of Allah Ta'ala, not for the need of the dunya. You should be known for need, faqr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So inshallah ta'ala, make dua to Allah Ta'ala that Allah Ta'ala allows us to give us this faqiri of our hearts, inshallah ta'ala. Inshallah, we'll continue this topic next week as well. And we will try to bring in other aspects of Hubbe Mal and Hubbe Ja and Hubbe Ba as well. And we will see how our elders, they used to run away from this disease of recognition. Our akabirin, alhamdulillah. They used to run away from that because they took it rightfully as a poison of souls. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to be in a state where our hearts are disconnected from the dunya. May Allah Ta'ala allow us to be in a state where our hearts are disconnected from recognition and praise of our nufus. May Allah Ta'ala allow us to be in a state that is pleasing to Him. Ameen ya Rabbul Alameen. Wa akhiru da'wana And Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Inshallah, ta'ala, we will do some muraqabah. Inshallah, ta'ala, for muraqabah, close your eyes, bow your heads in humility and humbleness before Allah ta'ala. Forget that anyone is sitting next to us. Focus on your thoughts a little bit, the thought process, these thoughts emerging into our mind. Rather than getting indulged in them, just let go of them. Step back from them, disassociate yourselves from your brain, from your mind, from your thoughts, and bring your focus, bring your tawajjuh, bring your attention down to a ruh, the part of our ruh that is called qalb. It is two fingers below our left chest. Focus on that point. Let go of everyone and everything, negate everyone and everything, and affirm Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's presence. Make niyyah that Allah ta'ala is sending His tajalliyat, His anwarat, His fuyuzat on our qalb, cleansing it of all the hardness, of all the filth, all the darkness of sins that we have gathered. Feel your qalb absorbing it, that it's getting jazb within our qalb, and feel that your qalb is calling out to Him. Feel that your qalb is saying, Allah, Allah, Allah. لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله. سبحان ربي على الوحي. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. رب اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. رب زدني علما رب زدني علما رب زدني علما. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم إنا نسألك من خير ما سألك عبدك حبيبك نبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، ونعوذ بك من شر ما استعاذك عبدك حبيبك نبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وأنت المستعان عليك ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتقبل منا إنك أنت التواب. صلى الله تعالى على خير خلق محمد برحمتك يا أرحم.